play Bitten, which was performed as part of Broken Rose Performing Arts in October and November of 2011. Now first I'll start with a bit of a synopsis for the play. It's a really strange subject matter, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation as to why I chose to write about this. The way that we've been describing it to people is as follows. Ravens always felt drawn to people, but not necessarily for their personal qualities. Strangely, she still agrees that it's what's inside that counts. Now after I say that, when I'm announcing the show, I usually go on to say, join us in this short piece of theatre which explores the story of a young girl who finds herself with a rather unorthodox craving, and then dedicates her life to finding out why. Sounds ominous, I know. So what is Raven's craving? Well, Raven's craving is for blood. Now basically the idea for Bitten came from me being the biggest Buffy, Angel, Twilight fan on the planet. Now don't turn the video off because you heard the word Twilight. I thought that because vampirism is such a huge topic in popular culture now, I thought it was an appropriate time to create something through some art form that challenged the growing archetypes that are kind of happening in society right now around this subject matter. Raven isn't a vampire. Raven is a young girl who has the craving to drink the blood of other people. Now, I did a lot of research around it, and that there is a condition called Renfield syndrome, where this kind of thing happens. There's a lot of information on the internet and in books about real vampirism. So I really looked into it, and the way I wanted to present it was that for Raven, the act of drinking another's blood is a relationship. It's a level of intimacy you can't reach any other way. It's nothing to do with being some sort of beast or monster. For her, it really is quite beautiful. The part of Raven is played by a young girl named Francesca, a fantastic actress and a beautiful young woman. I not only wrote the piece but also directed it, and we held the rehearsals at my then flat in Manchester. We had quite a few laughs rehearsing actually, because it's such a strange subject matter. If things would come out wrong, they would actually sound quite funny.
I watched him carry out the whole dirty sequence of events. She was stabbed. Who knows how many times, and it was from those wounds that the blood was drained.
He made the punch mark.
He made the punch mark. I always forget. He made the punch mark later. That's how he did it. Not an extended fang inside. I'm just under pressure of the camera there, like, ah!
It was also quite funny because there's a moment in it where she chucks a load of quite big, heavy books off the table. And we kind of just had to pretend to do it because otherwise the people who lived below me probably would have killed me.
You made me so fucking angry to make it look like it was one of us. Hope people aren't already thinking we're shifty enough anyway. I must stress, he's not like us. Because his murders were so heavily linked, I followed the trail, wanting to find out exactly what he was up to. I went to his home. I found the research he'd kept hidden on his next victim, and I followed him. I watched him carry out the whole dirty sequence of events. She was stabbed, who knows how many times, and it was from these wounds that the blood was drained. He added the puncture marks later. That's how he did it, not an extended fang in sight. And he made me so fucking angry to make it look like it was one of us. Like people aren't already thinking we're shifty enough anyway.
It was very much a collaborative process. I really wanted to hear how Fran felt about what she was performing and whether it felt right to do something a certain way, or if it didn't, why. I really believe that collaboration is a very important thing in the arts, and as an actor you have got into the head of a character, and if something doesn't feel right, you really should speak up to your director or to the writer about that.
When you drink, you learn about the world. With every priest, there's a new reason for finding God. With every musician, there's a new melody to be learned. And with every average Joe, there's a new life story I hadn't heard yet. I remember the first time Can there be a pause there? Or do you want me to sort of be there?
I think if you make sure you've walked far enough for it not to be too long a pause. We also recorded some spoken word to go with the piece that was played as a soundbite on the night. It's kind of part of the soundtrack of the show.
He met her in the only coffee house he trusted. With bohemian ringed fingers she read Oscar Wilde. A soya latte macchiato beside the museum postcard she used for a bookmark. Selenium. A strange name, but intriguing nonetheless. Macchiatos, an actor, used his wily charms to seduce her, or so he thought, but Daddy didn't approve. She went to her death, allowed the creature to bite her, unwilling to live where her love was prohibited.
Another brilliant thing that came out of doing Bitten was that my good friend Francesca, who's a fabulous photographer, she came and did some promotional shots for us and also some rehearsal shots. There as well, not just doing the shots, but also to have another person look at the piece, because for about 6 weeks it was just me and Fran Smith in our little Bitten bubble.
I must stress, he is not like us. Because his murders were so heavily linked, I followed the trail. Sorry, can I start again?
Yeah, for sure.
That was shit! Joking.
How the performances came about is that on one of the previous versions of the Broken Rose website, there was just a tiny little picture and a tiny little piece of writing that said that I was working on a play that surrounded this idea. From that, I was invited to finish the piece in whatever way I could, or present it as a work in progress, to headline a showcase of various different kinds of artists, which was called Open Mind in October of 2011. The showcase happens every month. It's filled, like I say, with various different artists. I think that month there was a circus act, there was a lot of poets, some singers, band. So lots of different things there. Having said that, I think we were still quite a shock to the system when Bitten came on stage.
I remember with great clarity what they were saying, or rather screaming. My parents, they were arguing again. Eventually my father stormed out the living room. He was headed to the kitchen, but he stopped when he noticed someone watching him. Me. He seemed to fly over the banister and hit the stair with a loud thud before swiftly moving towards me. I should have known not to sit. Shouted at me before the lips went in. The rasping by the throat and threw me against something hard. Why hadn't I learned? I could have listened from my room. I would have heard everything. For some reason I was drawn to that top stair. Grabbed the front of my shirt sweat you get when your body is pumped full of adrenaline. It felt like forever, but it only took a second for him to throw me down the stairs.
Now, despite some technical difficulties at that particular showcase, the show went down really, really well. Following that, we were then asked to perform it a month later in a separate showcase for Light in the Dark entertainment. Now again, at Light in the Dark, it went down really, really well. Some of the audience members described it as intense and inspiring, which was lovely to hear.
I wandered over to the cushion of my own, intending to watch and figure out the protocol. But I had hardly gotten myself settled before a rather slight young woman laid her hands across my thighs, using her grip there as some sort of leverage to pull her face level with mine. Her name was Alina, or at least that's the name she gave me. Not that it mattered. I was more concerned with the open wound on her neck. And by concerned, I don't mean worried. I mean involved.
As it stands, at the moment Bitten is a short. It is about 25 minutes long. There is a second half to it. There certainly is a second half to it. However, each time I've tried to write it, I have thrown it straight in the bin. I think, having now seen it on stage a couple of times, I might now be able to move forward with it and try and get it into at least a one-act, 1 hour piece, or maybe even a full-length piece, we'll see. My aim is to work on that and hopefully get it on somewhere else in 2012. Looking back over some of these videos, it's really, really great to see the piece grow and even see how much it grew between the performance at TV21 and the performance at Sandbar for Light in the Dark. I definitely think that there's always room for improvement with anything really. So even though I was really, really pleased with the performances, I know we can push it further. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. The Bitten journey isn't over yet.